Money for jobs and education.
Money for jobs and education.
Not for wars and occupation.
Everybody talks about flagging, 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 flagging. This is the matter. All we are saying is give peace a chance.
Money for jobs and education.
Money for jobs and education.
Not for banks and corporations.
We are Occupy Los Angeles. We're affiliated with Occupy Wall Street. It's a movement going on in New York right now. There's about 1,000+ people camped out in Union Square, New York. They're fighting corporate injustice. They're fighting corporate greed. Right now, we the people are paying more in taxes than corporations are, more in taxes than billionaire investment bankers are. And we're unable to educate our children. We're unable to provide textbooks for our children. We're unable to get decent health care. We are all struggling, and they're living in exorbitance. And we need to close that gap. We need to be treated as human beings. And the problem right now is we're not being heard. What Occupy Los Angeles is all about, what Occupy Wall Street is all about, and what Occupy Together is all about is getting everyone together and making them understand that their voice needs to be heard, that they are important, that what they have to say is relevant to everybody, and they have the right to speak.
It's our chance to speak. It's our chance to speak because the media won't highlight this. They're blacking this out. Twitter is blocking it. Yahoo Mails are not covering it. Even no one knows about it. So we're just trying to spread the word. Occupy Wall Street, people haven't even heard of it yet. So we're trying to spread the word to the West Coast. There's over 30 cities that have an occupation going on. At some point, they're planning it or doing it. So together, occupytogether.org. Check it out. It's all of us together as a unified nation to fight the corporations and the top 1% who are just inequality and rampant corruption and greed all over the place. So we're fighting all that.
I just want to make one message to everybody who's watching this. This is very important. You need to tell people about this. The media is blacking us out. CNN has reported not at all on this. Fox has not reported at all on this. The networks, MSNBC, that have done little bits on this are not giving it the full attention that it deserves. They're keeping it quiet because it is not in the interest of the corporate banks that are controlling them. Twitter was just bought out by, or not bought out, I'm sorry. Twitter was just picked up, a large chunk of them, by JP Morgan Chase. And all of a sudden, Twitter is not allowing the Occupy Wall Street hashtag to trend. They're not letting the people see what people are talking about. They're keeping us quiet.
Agenda.
Whether or not you agree with every single thing we have to say, understand this. We are fighting for your right to say what you want. We're fighting for your right to believe what you want and to make your voice heard.
This is the type of protest that's been taking place all over the world, and it's really an opportunity to ignite massive change on a global level. If we can all jump on board in solidarity with what they're doing, because they're just saying no more. They're just standing there and holding their ground until they see change. And we've come to that point now where it's all so blatantly clear and obvious, the massive amounts of fraud and greed and corporate, it's just, our entire country has been bought and sold by corporations. Our entire country has been founded upon the fundamental of profit, not upon the fundamental of what is best for all, what is most sustainable for the many generations to come.
So we're here today not just for the LGBT community and fighting for full federal equality, but we're also here for the human rights side of this. The LGBT community is in every facet of the world. We are in your jobs, where you work, we're part of your family, we're part of your schools, and because we're everywhere, we became a human rights issue, and we are also part of every movement that happens across this country and across the world. Right now, the Wall Street movement is happening. That's starting to spring up. We've got it happening here in LA starting today. And that's something that we're going to start seeing our LGBT community part of as well, because it affects all of us. It's an American issue. Economics is an American issue. Freedom is an American issue. And what we know is that when one of us is not equal, none of us are equal because our rights are at risk. And for the LGBT...
To say I personally voted for President Obama. I actually gave the maximum campaign contribution I could have given to his campaign. But I did understand that we do live in a corporate-controlled country, and that Obama, to be elected, as anybody else to be elected, in taking those contributions was going to be very limited in what he could do. That having been said, I'm extremely disappointed in him because not only has he not done much, he's done nothing. In fact, he's rolled over and he's played dead.
We'll ever find any political solutions as long as the people in power represent corporations and banks. If we're going to do anything about that, we need an independent political movement that is community-based. that will raise the issue of taking the power out of the hands of the banks, taking the power out of the hands of the corporations, and putting that power into the hands of the people.
Money for jobs and education.
Money for jobs and education.
Not for wars and occupation.
Not for
Planet Earth, holder of the key to the living library, has entered a time of transformation. After cycles and cycles and cycles of duality. Now lives a race of enlightened humans, the balancers of sacred energy. The joyful ones, anointed ones, gifted ones, peacemakers, bringers of love. Wihonite, Wihonites, Wihonites television.
Money for jobs and education.